Here it comes. This
Oh
is
yeah.
from our favorite Newsweek.com.
Oh,
No
I
A in
text.
Newsweek.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a
This is
better one?
my, well, no, this is the better one. The other one is so long and convoluted. This one's the shorter of the
Oh,
two
dear.
articles.
Let's have it.
Star
But
Trek Starfleet
there's,
Academy compared to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Interesting.
Please
Hmm.
explain, Melissa Longo. Is it because it follows some kids in high school with some, well, in I guess Starfleet Academy with some really cool special powers?
well, basically the editor, John, I don't want to try and pronounce his last name, but
I do. Let,
John
let me find it.
Skolsky,
Dudkowski,
Dudkowski, yes. I was
I
gonna
think.
remember when I was spelling it. Um, John Dudkowski was comparing it to Buffy the Vampire Slayer because some of the quips between the kids, the students,
Nice.
kind of are in the style of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Hmm. All right. All right. Color me
Well,
interested.
color me skeptical.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that kind of banter works for Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Hmm.
but I feel like it can get overused. So I'm
Has
like,
to be done carefully. Yeah, you're
I
right.
did enjoy Buffy very
Hmm.
much for what it was. And
Hmm.
if they do it right and if the comedy is great, then great.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tawny Newsom's in the room, so I'm a little bit more
Exactly.
okay. I'll still give it a go. But
Yeah. Because she's funny, but she's also,
very smart.
yeah.
Well, you know, here's something. First of
What?
all, I agree with you guys. But secondly, however, you say, oh, that those kind of quips work on Buffy, but not on Star Trek. Well, maybe they're going to make a series, they're going to make a show where it does work on that. You know, kind of
Mm,
like if somebody
yeah,
said
yeah,
7 years ago, we're going to make a show where the jokes are somebody cutting someone open and somebody doing humping and an orgy and 10 forward and stuff like that. We'd have been like, that's not Star Trek humor. But then Lower Decks comes along and they say, well, in this iteration
right,
of Star Trek,
Yeah.
it does work. And it did.
right,
So, yeah,
yeah,
we'll give them the benefit of
Hmm.
the doubt. I think I agree there
right.
too.
It definitely
Yeah.
feels like that's since Buffy, there have been a lot of shows that have tried to recreate that the cadence of that show,
Hmm.
Right,
and
right.
not
And it
everybody can
doesn't
write that
always
way.
work
Yes.
because it's not an organic form of storytelling for everyone. They're using it
Sure.
as a formulaic style rather than an organic, this is how our characters talk.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
away
it's
from
funny
Uh,
the
because I
formula because that's not cool. Formula is
Yeah.
boring. It's
Formulaic.
beige.
Yeah.
we have a funny comment in the live chat. On B says, less interested now. Short and to the point. John Davis says, finally got home. Hello, Chat Pack. Hello,
Oh,
John
that's
Davis.
nice.
Welcome to
Hello,
the show.
hello.
We've been having a lot of
But
fun. Linda Anderegg. You missed Linda Anderegg talking about thongs, John. That's pretty much
Hmm.
it.
Tong, 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 tong.
That was the highlight.
and they hurt.
Hmm.
But yeah. But
They're
he
not the
was
best.
also saying in the interview that his only the only thing that he his least favorite thing about Star Trek is that he they don't put in contemporary music, which I
Oh,
disagree
yeah.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
because contemporary music doesn't belong in Star Trek.
Oh, please no. Ugh.
Yeah,
Like
well,
the
he said
the
that there's
yeah,
no
good.
contemporary music in Star Trek, so
Nice.
I'm like, yes, good.
Yeah. Like
Now,
the
Good.
how
reason
contemporary are we talking?
Like right now.
yeah, like
Like
now
Yeah.
now it
contemporary. Yeah.
Current
So when you
current
say right now, what you're saying is right now by Van Halen's okay.
21st century, like
No, I
you know,
mean
right
modern.
contemporary. like it worked in First Contact with
Magic Carpet
Zephyr
Ride, yeah.
Cochran.
But
Right.
that was also
George
because it was
Thorogood.
the first time they ever did it, you know, because and it was like, and because we were all like, whoa, this is like
Also
20th
because it
century
was-
music.
It was a
Whoa.
guy playing his music. It wasn't just
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
playing in the
It wasn't,
background.
yeah,
There was a reason
totally.
for it. Yeah,
Exactly.
Totally.
And it fit with who Zephyr Cochran was as a
Exactly.
character.
totally. It was beautiful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jordy, we got to abort. We
Oh
got
my
to
God.
abort. Remember that?
Oh my
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
And it was great when Jordy and Riker were like, what is this
Yeah.
noise?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh, the good
Still
old
remember like
days.
seeing that the first time. Oh,
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Wasn't
just being
wasn't
like,
that just the best movie ever? We're like,
Yes.
it's a Star Trek Next
Yes.
Generation movie, and it's so good.
Yeah,
Oh
and I'm
my
happy
God.
crying this time
So
instead of
good.
sad crying.
I was just happy.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's
So
good.
Melissa,
I
he's
could watch it
saying
again.
that we should expect to see contemporary
No.
music or no?
No.
He
That's
likes
his
having it.
He said that's his only qualm with Star Trek is that they never have contemporary music in the shows. And I'm like, good.
I wonder if
who
that's like
said
from a
yeah, okay.
watching
Got lost.
perspective or an editing perspective.
I think from an editing perspective,
I-
because he
Hmm.
likes editing music with the
Right.
shots and stuff, and I get it from his perspective.
Yeah.
But as an overall perspective, it doesn't belong in Star Trek
No.
unless
It would
for
not
special.
fit.
No,
No.
it doesn't. No, it's well, and that's I mean one of the things that Star Trek has about it is that it doesn't typically use the language that is current to today. I mean that's obviously in recent ones.
That's been
Yeah.
changing lately.
right, exactly, and that and
To my
and that's a
dismay.
big difference. But it's like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
well,
Right.
because I would say that I mean you go back and you watch the original series and the series prior to the current era of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be hard pressed to find language that doesn't feel universal in a way.
Hmm.
Right.
But today now we get I mean, look, I'm listening to an audiobook, a Star Trek audiobook today, and one of the characters who is not from Earth used the phrase chomping at the bit.
Hmm.
Oh.
And
Well,
Yeah.
had they been spending time with humans for a while?
Well, and that's the thing is I was like, because my initial thought was I was like, well, how would a Trill know the phrase chomping at the bit in the Fenris Rangers, right?
Right.
And I was like,
Oh, are you reading Firewall?
I'm listening to it. Yeah, I was
Nice.
like,
Yeah. That's awesome.
take my walks
Yeah.
every day.
I'm
Yeah.
like 3/4 through it. That's awesome.
Wow.
I was
that's
thinking
so
that. I was thinking
cool.
that because I feel like I had the same thought like at
Yeah.
least one
Mm.
other time, I think.
Yeah, so it's like, so when we start talking about injecting current music today, I feel like
Mhm.
when you start doing that, that starts to date shows,
Yeah.
especially if you
Right.
watch it later on.
What's that called?
Yeah.
It's not a colloquialism. It's
Word.
like the phrase for putting something contemporary into something that isn't.
Yeah.
Live chat, help us out.
Yeah.
While they're
Yeah.
doing that, Fenris Rangers sounds like something I'd love to dive into. You know what I
Yeah.
always was curious about?
Mm.
The Nyberide Alliance. The Nyberide Alliance. It was just one line from Worf when Worf was quitting Starfleet, and I think it was like Riker saying, "Where are you going to go?" He said, "We'll go to the Nyberide Alliance." He was going to join that, and I don't even remember what episode it was. But
Euphemism.
I could
Euphemism. No, not that.
no.
No?
No.
But anyway, I don't think I've ever heard anything about the Nyberide Alliance beyond just that one line. But I was always like,
Right.
I kind of looked it up once, and I think I was able. They had like an area where it was. It's kind of like on the far edges of what's mapped. I'm like, I want to know what's going on there. That just sounds like a lot of fun. On B says idiom,
Idiom. It's
anachronism.
Anachronism. That's it.
Says
That's the one.
DB.
Nailed it. Anachronism. Thank you. That's what it is. Thank you. Yeah,
Good
it's
work.
like out of time.
Oh,
I knew it
right,
wasn't
right.
euphemism because I'm like 90% euphemisms.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's like our whole show is just euphemisms. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
So
you.
here it is, going over to our second favorite website, Memory Alpha.
Ooh,
Pulling it up
like
right
Memory
now.
Alpha.
The Niberite. Oh gosh, that's just a
Whoa.
giant pop-up.
No.
Okay, see how
Biggest
tiny
pop-up in the world.
They do not
see how
belong to
tiny
me,
this
Lion.
thing is? It's just this one little. Oh,
Oh right, it was on.
so
Okay, it was when he was on Deep Space Nine because I was like,
there
he
it is,
and Riker never had that conversation.
yeah, I couldn't
Okay.
remember who it was
Whew.
or what
I was
episode it was.
like,
The Niberite Alliance was always eager to hire experienced officers, but what's the quote? Oh, the way of the warrior. Interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
But he just says, like, Worf was leaving, and O'Brien says, "Where are you going?" He says, I'm thinking the Niberite Alliance. He wasn't even sure, but I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something like that. And he says, they're always looking for experienced officers, or, you know.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah.
but I don't see the exact quote. But anyway, that's what it was.
Hmm.
So I just, ever since then, I'm like, I want to know about what this thing is.
you
That
should
sounds-
write it.
Yeah.
There's probably a book out there that is covering it in one way or another. Star Trek fandom is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for watching that clip. We go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern with all the latest Star Trek news on the virtual TrekCon channel.